In this video, I'm going to show you how to use the pen tool to make selections and to crop out images. The first thing that you should always do when you're creating a selection and trying to crop things out is make sure that you can actually edit the image that you added. So in my layers palette, you can see that I have a smart object. It has that little smart object icon, which is a little piece of paper and a square on it, meaning that I can't really change or edit the picture itself besides move it around and change how it's oriented. So to rasterize it, all I have to do is right click and come down to rasterize layer. Now you can see that that little icon is gone. Next thing that we need to do is decide what tool that we're going to use. For me, we're going to use the pen tool. The pen tool is a really strong tool. It allows you to freely make designs and to create the path that you want to. And it makes really nice curved and straight lines. And then we can always convert it into a selection. There's a variety of different ways that we can use this, but they're all synced to the quick button of P. We're going to keep with the original pen tool because there's a variety of different ways that we can use this and alter what we're doing. So I have my pen tool. And when we get to our larger design, what you're going to want to do is zoom in. So I quick keyed over to Z so that I can see where I want to look at. And then by holding spacebar, I can move my design around, which is going to be very helpful while we're working. So I'm going to quick button with P again so I can start cropping. The way that we're going to start cropping is you always want to crop a little on the inside so it doesn't have any more leftover bits left over. When I click, I create an anchor point, which you can see looks like this little blue marker. I'm going to click around, and right now it's going to make a really angular looking design. It looks smooth when we're from afar, but when we get close, we can see that it's really angular. And I don't actually want that. That'll take a long time for me to click through all of those. So I can undo this by going up to Edit and Undo, or Command Z if I want to get quicker at this. But I can also come to my pen tool and go to Delete Anchor Point. That is a different version of the pen tool that has a little minus. And you can see I'm removing things. And I'll change it back to my pen tool and I'll add on things. Something that's a little bit easier to do is I can, once I have my anchor that I want to work on, I can click and I can drag. And notice how I'm adding these little handles on the side and it's curving the other parts. So that is adding a curve to my design, which is going to be very helpful. So then when I move along, it'll add a curve into there. Notice how once I click, it already somewhat has a curve to it. That's because there's this, what I call English, this carryover curve from the last one. And if I don't want that, what I can do is I can press Option or Alt and click on the last one. And notice that that anchor went away. And now I can make a nice clean angle. So this can be very helpful if I want to change up how it's curving, like how it's going to curve around this bumpier part of the horn. And then I can use my space bar to keep on moving. So I'll Option click and then go. Option click and then go. Sometimes it can be somewhat tricky working this close. So remember that you can always zoom in and out to be able to get the best kind of design that you need. So I'm going to speed up the video so you don't have to watch me create selections the entire time, but I'll show you how to finish it and turn it into a selection in just a moment. All right, now we have it almost completed. So I'm going to zoom in so you guys can see the last couple steps. So once you have your last, when you're close to your last anchor, what you're going to do is you're going to make sure that you connect your end to your beginning. Notice how when I hover over it, it has a little circle mark on it. So I'm going to click it. I'm going to do my last little shape, make sure that it looks like good. And now I have a completed shape. Now, this is a shape. It's not a selection. So it's not going to quite be able to crop things out. But we saw how you had a lot of flexibility on making each of the curves go in and out. And if I wanted to change it any further, I could come to the pen tool and I could add or subtract anchors. I can also use the convert anchor point tool to change the way it's curving, as well as I can use the direct select tool to click on specific anchors and move them around either in or out. So we have a lot of possibilities of how to use the pen tool. What I need to do once I have this created, I need to come up to the properties and I need to tell it that I want to make I want to turn this into a selection. So I'm going to switch over to my pen tool, come up to the properties, and you can see that I have a couple things that I can do. Right now it's making a path and it's empty. It's making a selection and I can tell it to make a selection by clicking on here and it'll bring up another window. I can feather it a little bit if I want to have a softer edge, which I always kind of like having a little bit of a soft edge. And I can tell it that I want to make a new selection. I can add to old selections, subtract from old selections, or have it intersect with old selections. I'm just going to create a new selection so that it makes a selection where the head is. And we can see now it is that dotted line that tells us that we are making a selection. So I can come and change this and I can copy and paste it, or I can use my move tool to move this around and separate it from the background. I could also use my selection tools, such as the marquee tool, the magic wand tool, or the lasso tool, to move and alter that. So I can create subtraction selections. I can also create addition selections as well. So I can create, grab some more stuff if I accidentally did things. So this can be very helpful for creating selections. I'm going to erase the background now by coming up to select at the top. I'm going to go to inverse. So I'm selecting everything but the goat. And then what I'm going to do is just delete. And I just removed everything else that existed in the scene that is not what my selection is. So there you go. That is how to create selections with the pen tool.